Blog Talk Radio.
The motherfucking saga continues.
Yo, what's up, world? It's badass thuggin' like I usually do, and you better turn it up, bust some speakers out, cause we off the motherfucking cuff. You dig how we do it? Dog Pound Gangsters 2000 and beyond. Bleh.
What's up with it, y'all? Man, don't change that down. This your player partner, the legendary Cocaine. And you tuned in live to Off the Cuff Radio. Better not touch that down.
Yeah, this is Cassidy, the hustler. And right now, you listening to the Guillotine. Show them the respect they deserve, man. Off the Cut Radio, man. Y'all already know how they doing it, man. I need y'all to stay tuned. They've been doing it for years, so show them the respect they deserve. And you heard it out of bars, mouth. Easy.
Keep it moving like this. Yo, this your boy Rampage. You're not rocking with the best. With Off the Cuff Radio. Classic. History. Fix your face to all you haters. We off the cuff, baby.
What's up, everybody? This your girl, Bonnie Dollars, the Queen of Trap, representing Crenshaw, and you are now tuned in with Off the Cuff Radio. What's up?
What's up, y'all? This is Miss Irresistible, giving a shout-out to the livest show on Friday nights, Off the Cuff Radio, and I'm live from the 704. Make sure y'all tune in for the blazing hot music.
What it ain't, what it do. Chili Chill from that original Lynch Mob. And Off the Cuff Radio, always where it's at on Friday nights. West, y'all.
Is this the way? Is this the way?
Make your heart beat. Feel low. Something to keep them legs screaming. Feel low. Damn, the one that you kill for. Cause the only thing I bring is feel low. Something to make your heart beat. Feel low. Something to keep them legs screaming. Feel low. Damn, the one that you kill for. Cause the only thing I bring is
looking for Bill Love, she riding down the parkway. She big trippin', but that ain't what her heart say. Got game, shoot my shot like the old park. Laid back nigga, but don't play, I'm the same shark. Yeah, they know about them train tracks. From young to old, yeah, we the same max. We ate them other niggas, we know how to fall back. She pawned on it, think about it, then she called back. One hand in her purse, other hand in her bra strap. Teach her how to tote the banger and how to watch the roll. I'ma bag up this work while she watch the stove. Another win for the Pirates, it's a domino. Get with the program, or I'm hollering vominos. She gon' bless me when I sneeze like the common cold. Game so tight, choosing ain't optional. Came from the struggle, show her anything possible.
something to make your heart beat. Feel low, something to keep them legs screaming. Feel low, damn, the one that you kill for. Cause the only thing I bring is
feel love with a thug, she tryna build trust. I'm still up, she settled down, now she feels stuck. He ain't got them goals nor aspirations, he a real bum. Plus he super dry, been a minute since she feels some. They don't never have to know, that's me knocking at the door. Pint of Casamigos down at People's, catch me at the stove. LFE, they know the team, they just acting slow. Put a couple holes through windshields and made him back the low. Remember Nacho Ladies, dice games, good old days. Then came the back doors, but solid one shouldn't change. P-Coach Jabos and nerd niggas getting hoodies blazed. When Hirsch with the Merrill down the Parkway, Z28. If she was there through the storm, we forever straight. When you have emotion like you supposed to, you just let them hate. Show too much love for them to hate me, but how you paint a picture for motherfuckers that can't see.
something to make your heart beat. Feel low, something to keep them legs screaming. Feel low, damn, the one that you kill for.
Yeah. What's the deal? This your man King Eric, the media assassin. We're now tuned in to episode 655 of Off the Cuff Radio, live and direct from StreamYard, coast to coast. And this show is sponsored by Buddy Boy Entertainment, Screwball Radio, Da Vinci Clothing. I got my host T-Max with the facts on the stage. What's good?
What it do? Man, what it do, y'all? Another spontaneously super tremendous Thursday episode of your favorite outstanding frequency on the internet, Off the Cuff Radio. Shout out to our co-host and spiritualized Sandman, Lady Chinchilla. And shout out to Fleetwood, as always, for being one of our most strongest, stalwart, and loyal supporters. We thank you again for this connect tonight. King, let everybody know who we got on the air.
Yeah, man, residing from the Bay Area. This guy right here is making his strife in the independent game right now. As you could tell with the joint we just played, Ville Love, I had to put that out there, man, because, you know, we need that type of energy out there. We need that type of good music out there, that good feel-good soul music from the Bay, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So he's here with a catalog, a story to tell, a movement behind him, and a community behind him as well. So it's all welcome. J-SMACKA, the Off the Cuff Radio.
Yep.
Yo, appreciate y'all having me.
Appreciate you being with us, man. Thank you.
For sure.
Look, so J-SMACKA, you're definitely with the rhymes. You know, definitely slap for the town all around, up and down the Bay all day. Tell everybody what part of the Bay you reside in. Where you from?
Yeah, I'm from Richmond, California. Richmond, the East Bay. I live in Oakland. You know, it's about a 15-minute drive away from Oakland. So, but I moved to Oakland. Grew up in Richmond.
Is that let's see, that's not 209, is it? That's not 209 area code, is it?
No, we 510.
510, okay. San Francisco, Oakland, all that. Yeah, man. Look, Richmond, home of where Master P with No Limit Records started, you know, and of course Oakland. Yeah, man. You representing East or West Oakland?
I'm from Richmond. I grew up in the hood called Parchester Village.
Okay, Parchester Village. You said you reside in Oakland now. You in East or West Oakland?
I live in West Oakland.
Okay. Because look, one thing about it, we have always respected about how y'all put it down in the Bay is that there's just no hustle like the Bay, man. Y'all just get it.
For sure.
I mean,
that's the OGs too, man. The OGs was passing that down, man. They've been doing that since back when I was young, probably before then. So,
man, yeah. So I mean, let's get it. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself in terms of, you know, your come up in the Bay, your influences, how you got into the game, and how that's helped establish the movement that you got today. Let's get it.
For sure. So I came up growing up in Richmond. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my influence came from out this way. And that was like people like Mac Dre or Yuckmouth and the Jacka. Them were some of my influences growing up, you know what I'm saying? And it just pushed me. Like, you know, I got into the music when I was young. So me doing the music, that was just a way for me to be able to get what I was thinking out because I was one of the quiet young dudes, you know what I'm saying? So got to the music. Then I got slowed down because I did a stint in prison. I did 10 years, so that had kind of set me back a little bit. But now I'm out and I'm able to really push this movement and take it serious now. So
one thing about SMACKA is you mentioned some piece to Pittsburgh, Jack. Of course, Oakland's very own Mac Dre, Romper Room crew, Fizz King. We need to have two Mount Rushmores of Bay Area legends because those two definitely, whichever one you have first or second, they both deserve to be on it. And their influence today is still felt and respected in terms of their connection. Getting into the music game as you did, what did you find in terms of with those influences, what it meant in terms of understanding how to represent your town, and more than anything, making the music you felt was a true extension of the vision that you had for what you were doing?
I'm gonna say just basically, you know what I'm saying? They say it ain't nothing new up under the sun. So it's like, you know, if you pay attention to what came before you, it'll help you for what you about to go through. So just seeing a lot of how Mac Dre or the Jacka, you know, they was never signed to big labels and stuff. So we always had that independent hustle coming from out of this way. So it just already prepared me to, you know, start doing the independent grind. You know what I'm saying? And it just, even as I got out of prison and started taking the music serious, and you know, I just always reached out to my OGs. That's kind of, you know, how Fleetwood tapped us in. Fleetwood, another one of them good older people that, you know, that just passing game down to me, you know, and I'm ears open. My ears wide open. You know what I'm saying? I ain't a person that can't learn. I can't learn enough. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Now you coming from the Bay Area and everything. Do you feel that as you going on in your quest in the industry, do you feel that you was being pigeonholed a bit by people, but in the outside of the industry?
Yeah, I mean, it feel like that. It feel like that, like pigeonhole. And sometimes, you know, this is a new Bay Area that it's not like the old Bay when, you know, the independent grind was coming and everybody was supporting. Nowadays, the Bay is kind of pigeonholing itself. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different game, but it's still the same. You're learning the independent hustle, but we also got to learn how to get outside the Bay. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing coming from out this way. You know, it's like, you know, a lot of times we people out here not supporting people out here anymore. So, you know, biggest thing is just to, you know, get on that road and get it moving too.
You know, it's funny when you talk about that, SMACKA, when we think about where the Bay, in terms of how you said how it's being pushed. King, you know, by way of Harlem, New York, and living in North Carolina now. I'm Virginia, born and raised my entire life. We came up in a different type of time where Rap City, Your MTV Raps Video Music Box, it was a time where there was a lot of diversity in terms of where you had a lot of Bay Area artists. Shout out to our Uncle Richie Rich. Shout out to CMG from Conscious Daughters. You know, shout out to Sugar T. You know, Sister V. I mean, when you look at Vallejo, Richmond, Stockton, you know, San Francisco, when you think about the legends and all that, I mean, we were exposed to all of that. We knew about Dre Dog, aka Andre Nicotino. We knew about 3 Times Crazy. We know about Rick Rock and the Federation. Yeah. You know, so that we came up and really understanding how y'all got down, you know, with Rapping Forte. Yeah. You know, I mean, that old Oakland, the Who Riders, you know, Chopper Sand and Mr. Taylor, I mean, it's
a lot of rich history going on with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of mob music and stuff too. Like,
man, and even the new generation, like, well, the Mechanics, because they've been doing this, shout out to Kenny Tweed and 4 Racks, and of course the new generation like Cookie Money doing his thing out there, the young balls.
Yep.
And you coming from that lineage of rich legacy. What was the biggest challenge on finding how you could stand out from the pack?
I would say that my biggest challenge, my biggest challenge is not standing out, because I feel like my music don't really sound like a specific type of music from out this way, or so it's like my music already stands out differently than a lot of stuff. So I would think that, my biggest challenge of all has just been me with being in prison. You know what I'm saying? That just held me back a lot. Like, so that was my biggest challenge for real about getting this music stuff. And then my other challenge was myself. You know what I'm saying? Not understanding that, you know, I was doing music. I always did music, but I never took it serious. And once I understood that you got to take this music like a career, it's not just a hobby no more. You got to do the hobby. You got to love doing the music, but you got to take it and work it like you would work anything else.
Absolutely. In terms of you having to sit down for a little bit, we're not going to get into the details of that unless you want to speak on it. We don't do that off the cuff in terms of interrogations. But what have you learned? But what have you learned from that time you had to sit down and seeing how a lot of artists, a lot of the youth today, and some who do become artists, can be blatantly reckless in their approach, where they're still kind of stuck in the street life more than their musical endeavors, and sometimes end up paying the price for it. You had to live it for a little bit in terms of that. And obviously, it's something that was a lesson, but not a lesson that you wanted to have to go through. Um, what is your advice to artists out there to really, like you said, take this serious and stay out of the trouble that can end up, with, certain situations of consequences?
Yeah, I would say my biggest thing I learned is you can't really have one foot in and one foot on the other side. It's like you have one foot in like that. That side is quicksand. You're gonna be sinking in. You're gonna sink into that side more than that music. So if you really want to take your music serious, you gotta finally give up that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's hard sometimes. It feel like you don't got a choice, especially when you're young. You know what I'm saying? You're just looking at things differently. But you gotta really take that serious, and you're not gonna be able to do one and the other. Eventually, that side gonna catch up with you.
Absolutely. Growing up for you, what was it like in, Richmond, in terms of just, your neighborhood, in terms of the, just the people around you playing sports? I mean, tell us about that in terms of just what shaped you from, being a wee tot to being a grown man.
Yeah, I'll say that what shaped me is like growing up. I grew up in the early '90s and stuff, and so it was like it was still like it was still crack and stuff going on. It was still the other side of the crack epidemic, and that was around the whole Bay Area tough. So my parents was doing that. Both my parents was getting high and stuff. Just a lot of people around, or you was either getting high or you was selling dope. So when I was young, just seeing all of that, it was a time of a lot of violence and stuff. You feel me? And that kind of shaped my life in a way. Like I wouldn't say. I mean, it shaped my life in a bad way and a good way. It prepared me for a lot, but it also got me into my own type of situations getting older. So as far as sports, I was playing sports when I was young. But by the time I went to prison, I was still 16. I was in high school. I was 16. They just charged me as an adult. So I didn't really get to continue playing sports and stuff. But sports was a big thing for me. I love basketball, I love football back in the day. A lot of people from my hood was playing baseball too. That was one thing about Richmond. We got a lot of baseball players.
Man, when you think about the Bay Area, but you come from great athletic stock. When you look at the guys like Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, Marshawn Lynch, all those guys. When you got serious about it, take us through your first project and what that was like in terms of being in the studio, really having a focus about what you wanted to do.
Yeah, so when I first got serious about it, I was on my last year of my prison sentence, and I just was in there writing like a bunch of different raps. And I'm like, I already was planning when I get out how to drop them. I got out, dropped a few singles, and then start getting some buzz, and eventually I'll start working on the album. And it was at a time I was out of prison, and my little brother got killed.
Our condolences.
Appreciate it.
No.
Appreciate it. And yeah, that was a time I thought I had been through everything before that, because I lost a lot of people before, family members, friends. It was that just hit me close, because that was our baby brother. So, and I just I guess, I don't know, I took that as a way to grieve. I just locked myself in there and I did a whole album, that album called Road to Success, and it ended up being a deep album. It was a cold album. So that's when I really was like, and my little brother, he was an artist as well. And that was his dream for sure. So I'm like, I'm gonna just take this serious, you know what I'm saying? And ever since, yeah.
Reaching out to the local artists and producers, who were the people that really were receptive in terms of your endeavors and really assisted in terms of helping you realize that dream come to fruition?
Man, it was a producer called That Boy Good. Worked with him like a lot, to the point where, because I was buying a lot of beats and stuff, and at the time, I'm fresh out of prison working, I didn't really have that much money. So he was the first producer that was like, man, he's like, I'll get mine on the back end. He's like, I believe in you as an artist. So just he started giving me some cold beats. And then another person was an engineer I worked with named Louis Valentino. He started showing me, that, a lot of songs I was recording, he like, man, I didn't have the ear of where he was like, this could be way cleaner. And I'm like, well, I can't hear it. He was an engineer. And the way he would mix it and master it, it would be so crisp that I was like, I finally like realized, what I'm saying, that a lot of stuff I was dropping didn't have real good, it didn't really sound well. So, and then as far as like artists and other stuff, just me doing my own thing on the independent thing, then I start messing with, start going up to the Carter Block events out here. And I eventually I signed with Carter Block Entertainment out here. And that's what I'm signed to right now. Shout out Bird. Yeah, seen what I was doing out here, and I went around them, and it was just like a perfect match, like a perfect fit, because that's a genuine label. It's a genuine dude in Bird, genuine person, authentic, no gimmicks, and just, it just matched me really well. So I ended up signing with Carter Block, and ever since it's been going up.
That's dope, man.
And that's very key, because you got to find a label that not trying to gatekeep what you do and trying to harness your sound, but let you be creative. And they'll just handle the hard part. They'll handle the business aspect. Yeah, that been making it a lot easier on me, because trying to get out of prison, trying to navigate the music stuff. Like, I was up all through the night researching about music, how to get my royalties, how to get my distribution. I didn't know any of that, so I did take my time to learn all that first.
One thing about it is that no matter the situation, you all cannot be kept down. When we think about what happened with X-Rated, where he did over 30 years, represent Sacramento, 24th Street, for those who know. So you are still a testament to showing that even with those obstacles, that you're still able. Of course, with independent labels, shout to Kyrie and Mac Mall, with Young Black Brother Records. So this is definitely, you have, added on to an already impressive and respected catalog and lineage of artists out there. So we get to the place of how you meet with the producers, you get with the label, then the music is recorded. Take us through that process, SMACKA, of what it was like to actually get the music out to the people, and ultimately where you would start performing.
At first, I didn't really know about marketing my music or any of that. Like I said, I had to learn that part of the game. So I was just making music and dropping it. And then I'm showing people my music, and they like, damn, why nobody hearing this? Everybody just kept saying that. Why is nobody hearing this? And then I found out why nobody hearing this. I'm not marketing it. I'm just dropping it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knowing what to do with it. So then something told me, I'm like, everybody I show my music to love it. So that just means I gotta show it to more people. You know what I'm saying? So once I just figured that out, I'll just start just moving that. You know what I'm saying? Every time I'm out, I got flyers, I got QR codes for people to pull up my music. I got to start doing different type of marketing, and eventually, like the music just started catching on for itself. So start doing shows, start getting better at performing. Everything is a learning process, doing the shows, and then having to learn how to do shows properly. Nobody want to come to your show and see you just rapping in the mic, you know what I'm saying, for doing nothing. You gotta give them a reason to want to see you again. So just start turning it up at the shows, and everything was a learning process, step by step, but it's still going up.
You come from the Bay Area, which is, how has that blessed you from a perspective of the Bay Area being one of the major hubs? Because you got Atlanta, you got Los Angeles, you got, Compton, you got New York, you got Miami, you got Houston. The Bay Area is no different in terms of that lineage. How blessed were you to be in a place where there's already a rich musical history, where the independent hustle is not only respected but encouraged, that would ultimately help you to connect with those people out there?
Right. I would say it just blessed me a lot because it's like it's just a mindset thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a mindset thing and not waiting for somebody to get it to you. You got to get out there and get it yourself. And then like how I said, kind of how I grew up around, the dope era and stuff. It was like that was the mindset of the streets. So it was like, man, if you could go take these drugs and go sell them, you could go take these CDs and go sell wherever and sell them. You know what I'm saying? Or you could take your music, sell it like some product. If you could do that, you could do this. So I think that was the part that it blessed me a lot and it helped me a lot because I noticed even when I went in prison, there was people from other areas in there, and they would tell me that, like, man, y'all got that independent hustle. You know what I'm saying? So I think it did bless me in a way.
Got you. Now, when you look at that situation as well, Too Short is considered the godfather of Bay Area rap. What did you learn from how he hustled out the trunk? Because then, of course, we look at also Master P with No Limit Records. He actually had the physical store, and then, of course, E40 with Uncle St. Charles and how he helped them. What did you learn from all of them in terms of not only putting out the music, but having the physicals on deck ready to slang, and also knowing the people that could really help you get it out there like that?
Man, I just learned a lot from them because of just how you said, on top of the independent grind they've been doing, it was the consistency. Like dudes like Too Short and E40, they've been rapping since the 80s. So they've been rapping in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s. That's 5 different decades that they've been rapping in. That's consistency too. So it's like, and they've been keeping the same blueprint. So it's like I said, it ain't you don't want to come in. A lot of people always want to come in and reinvent the wheel, but it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about learning what's already out there. They say like the game is to be told, not sold. The game is to be sold, not told. But the thing is, I learned is, it's not for money. The only thing you got to do is pay attention. You feel me? That's what you got to pay. It's attention.
Absolutely.
Especially when everything goes to 360, man. Like the game don't change at all, just the players.
Exactly.
On your page, it's very thorough. You speak of yourself as a community activist. Obviously, from your experiences, you're there to help the youth. One thing about it that we have always respected about it is the streets of the Bay Area in terms of the hustle. But we know shit gets ill out there because niggas out there are not playing. As we say on the show, respectfully, Bay niggas beef different.
It goes beyond the mic quick.
For sure.
So what have you found, SMACKA, about in terms of your community outreach, in terms of talking to the youth and encouraging them to basically concentrate on more positive endeavors, and how you as an artist have stayed away from rap beefs in terms of getting into it niggas unnecessarily?
My thing is that I don't like to preach to the people younger than me or nothing, or just because it's a way if you preach to a young person, they just don't listen. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a generational thing. They feel like when you're preaching to them that you think that they don't know nothing. And you know what I'm saying? I remember when I was young, I just thought I knew everything and really didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? But wasn't that I was dumb. I just was inexperienced. You know what I'm saying? So right. I just I don't treat the younger people like they dumb. They smart, but it's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. You got to go through stuff to be able to be wise about those situations. So I just be there, and then I give them another avenue. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell them what not to do, but I lead them into something good to do. You feel me?
Yeah.
I let them know I'm not judging them about nothing, because I'd been through my fair share of that too.
Well, one thing about it, and you're so astute on that, because knowledge is knowing it, but wisdom is acting on the knowledge that you have attained in terms of putting that into action. Absolutely. And it's the application of it.
Right.
And that is important. When you look at today of how you came up in the music industry, and how it was when you were young. What differences have you seen in terms of production? You've seen in terms of the art of rhyme, and most importantly, interacting with the people out there.
The biggest differences I've seen is just the technology aspect of it all, and just how it's just how back in the day when you were able to be out there selling tapes or CDs, and then now it's like everything is streaming and streaming and streaming. You know what I'm saying? And people faking their numbers and having fake motion and stuff. So it's like now it's like the biggest difference I see is that the authenticity is missing now. But that's like what I feel like I'm bringing back, and that's why I feel like I'm gonna just stay like that, because I feel like this what the world needs right now. It's like we missing so much authentic stuff. Like everything is questionable nowadays. People questionable, AI questionable. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to tell what's real and fake. So I feel like what's missing and what's about to make a comeback is authenticity. You feel me? That's what the world looking for. That's what's needed, because eventually people gonna see through the smoke.
Absolutely, and in the game we do see a lot of smoke and mirrors. What is your impression of a lot of these artists out here that try to talk a certain level about the street life and never lived it?
Man, my thing is, it's something I wouldn't do, and I mean I can't be mad that they found a way to capitalize, because for some reason the world is bloodthirsty over that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Violent movies, violent music. You know what I'm saying? You got people in the suburbs that out there repeating these lyrics and loving it. So, you know what I'm saying? I guess it's just like all this internet stuff. People doing all these skits, the music fake. It's like they doing whatever sells. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's I'm feeling like it's the authentic stuff is making a comeback, because it's like it ain't like where the real ones at, because we always been here. We ain't went nowhere. It's just
that
like
part.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just really it's up to the world. It's like how we say things go in cycles. It's like the world about to take that back into consideration, that real stuff. You feel me?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's important, man, because when we think about what's going on out there, we come from a different era of marketing with the music. We grew up on Video Soul, Rap City, UMTV Raps, The Box.
Yeah.
So we understand, and we grew up with the publications. Shout out to Right On Magazine, John Blassingame, the editor, the creator, the founder, Source Magazine, Double XL, shout out to Elliot Wilson, of course, and so many others, Rap Pages, Murder Dog. So we understand it, SMACKA, from a different side of the art in terms of the investigation, the journalism, and presentation. And we came from a different time in the music where, in terms of how the music was presented, it was a wide variety, whether R&B, whether it was hip hop, even if it was pop rap. We think about what Hammer did back in the day representing for Oakland. We think about, Tony, what they did, B&G.
It was a wide open game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what we see now is an overabundance and saturation of a lot of drug-induced, pill-popping, bitch-slapping, gun-toting, niggas talking shit, wanna beef, wearing dresses, all types of mumble rap.
Weird shit.
Yeah, weird shit.
For real.
Don't forget baby oil. Don't forget the baby oil.
Yeah.
They can have
Don't stop.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
A weird type of time right now, man. I'm like, man. Even Kendrick said it best. The industry, that part of the industry is dying. That weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why it's prime time right now. Prime time.
In terms of this musical journey you've been on, SMACKA, who have you come across in the Bay Area in terms of just talking to, maybe doing shows with, or just, whomever who's really been instrumental in helping to further your career along the way?
And a couple people, I'll say Fleetwood is definitely one of them, man. He been dropping a lot of jewels off for me, and my dog Man, he been dropping off. He was a co-CEO of the record label before the one that I'm on. He been dropping a lot of jewels on me. Bird, my CEO Bird, and then just coming into like doing a song with Lil Blood and Lil Yee.
Lil Blood, shout out, yeah.
Yeah. That was my latest song I did with him. The latest one I dropped, Lil Blood was on it.
Lil Blood Third World, yes.
Yeah.
See, we be tuned in like that, bro.
Yeah.
Man. First time I got hip to Lil Blood was on the Filthy Rich Killzone mixtape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when it goes down, when the funk really goes
down.
Who's really ready to ride?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, yo, for those who don't know, pick up that Filthy Rich Killzone mix, boy.
Man.
Yeah, man. So tell us about how you and Lil Blood hooked up.
We hooked up through Hooker Boy. I don't know if you know Hooker Boy. He do the shoot videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was like one of the first people shooting. First like of the new. He was shooting a lot of Filthy Rich and them. You know his tag, Filthy Rich is his tag. When he said I used to shoot all my videos with Hooker Boy.
Shout out to Seminary, Filthy in the Block.
Yeah, so I met him. I ended up meeting through him. He got the song through Hooker Boy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And me and my partner Boss G. He from Frisco. He from the city. We all three got on it. Me, Boss G, and Lil Blood.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, we had the beat. It was a beat from it was a sample from that old Big Daddy Kane, that No Half Stepping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a sample from that.
In terms of that type of collaboration, what does it mean where we see sometimes in certain places there's a lot of division as opposed to cohesive visions? What does it mean for all of you to come together and actually do music and for it to, come out as dope as it did?
It mean a lot for real, because we all from 3 different parts of the Bay too. Oakland, Frisco, and Richmond. Just like coming together and being cohesive. That's what I'm saying. Like this new movement, or even the whole Carter Block, we all from different parts of the Bay, but it's all stand-up individuals, and that's what the world needs to see, because you've been seeing so many people, at odds or beefing everywhere. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that part of the game, back in the day, it was a lot of real beefs and stuff, but even that part of the game becoming fake now. Everybody just wanted beef to beef. So it's important for people to see real ones coming together on some different stuff. You know what I'm saying? And being cohesive like that.
Yeah, we look at the
situation. Even that's starting to feel like it's fake.
Yeah, man. We look at that situation with Mozzie and Sibo back in the day. And how they had a little issue, and then something happened, and I think that's when they realized it. Like, we needed to settle this. Yeah. I know with Lavish D and Mozzie, that's still a hot situation right now.
Right.
But it's something that I think, and that's a tragedy about it, because what you said, Smacka, is so accurate, because a lot of times niggas will. They start shit for clicks, not knowing that there's a click, bang behind it.
Right.
You know, and that's serious, because, when niggas feel like that you've insulted them, and not only that you've insulted them, you've done it in a public way, niggas gonna feel a way about it.
Right.
When I listen to that Mozzie New Era, New King, them first lines, he said, "Fuck foe, nigga, we slide through the 5 and the 4." I was like, "Oh
man!"
I was like,
"Wait a minute, we know, we were like, okay, terror alert has been elevated."
Yeah, for sure.
But that was a real issue between them, and I'm glad for all we know, they've got it settled. But a lot of times, growing up in Richmond, were you all at odds with any of the other cities or neighborhoods in your section in terms of where things could get real at any point?
Yeah, definitely. Like growing up, and that's when it was turned up in Richmond. So we weren't at odds with no other city because our whole city was at odds with itself. Like every hood was at odds with every hood. I grew up around the time, like in my early teens, where it was one of the murder capitals, and Richmond is smaller, is one of the smallest cities in the Bay. You know what I'm saying? So it's small, way smaller than Oakland, but it's like, it's like nobody go to Richmond because niggas in Richmond don't even want to be in Richmond back then. So it's like every hood beef with every hood, every side beef with every side back then. So that was like a real treacherous time growing up then. Like even now, it's calmed down a lot, like a way lot. Calm down because a lot of people died or a lot of people went to prison from them eras. So, but it still had that stigma on it. You know what I'm saying? But Richmond actually a lot calmer now, and it's like becoming a way better city.
That's one thing about it too, when you think about it, because obviously the politics of the street are different than what it is in LA. Because with the Bay Area, the beefs are normally neighborhood related, as opposed to LA, where it's more gang related.
Right.
Where did a lot of those beefs usually stem from? Was it crews, drug crews, or was it just niggas from the hood that just may not like this nigga from another hood?
I mean, and that's the coldest part, because like by the time I'm in my teens and I'm getting into some beef or funk, you're not even really knowing where this all stemmed from. You just know that people have died from it.
Right.
And go back, they said a lot of the beef in Richmond started over a car accident before, or even before that, it was different. Like I met some older dudes in prison in the feds from Richmond, and he just was like, he'd been down 30 years, and he was just disgusted by it. He was like, you mean to tell me if you live on one side of Richmond, you can't go to the next side? And he's like, that's some sucker shit. He said, we always came from money back in the 80s. The only way you kill somebody was about some money. And he did, it was a different time in his era. Now he's hearing about all this. He's been down 30 years. He just couldn't understand it. So it's just hard to say where a lot of this came from. It's just like, you just know you growing up and you've growing up in a certain area, and these dudes from this other area been killing dudes from your area, and dudes from your area been killing them dudes.
Man, look, it's out here, I'm born and raised in Chesapeake.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in Chesapeake, but out Virginia Beach, we had, my aunt used to stay out in a place called Lake Edward. And Lake Edward and Bayside Arms would go at it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and even out here, they say Norfolk and Portsmouth got beef. I'm like, how can y'all niggas have beef? Y'all niggas ain't even close to each other.
For real.
But me and King, we always talk about it in terms of where there's two things. Either it's money or it's a woman. One or the other.
Exactly.
It never fails.
Exactly.
And then, one thing about it, somebody from a hood got it. Some shit. Look, next thing you know, nigga done rounded up his troops saying, yo, son got crazy. And then it's like, something trivial. But next thing you know, niggas are strapped up, ready to let off. And it's like, I don't know, man. I look at situations, and especially being older now, because when you're young and you're impetuous, you don't always look at the...
It's a lot to lose now when you're older now, because number one, you're evolving. Number two, you're evolving as a businessman, as a family man. And on top of that, you have property. You don't want to fuck any of that up. You know what I'm saying? Because you work hard in your early stages until your later stages to build a conglomerate, or you build something that can build for your future family to eat off of. And you don't want to lose all that within one slip of the banana peel.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of who you worked with so far, who do you still want to work with today that you haven't had a chance to?
I would say Baby Money out of Detroit.
Okay.
One
Shout out
person.
Detroit. I swear Vezo, Payroll Giovanni, and all them niggas doing their thing.
Yeah, Vezo
Face
for
Red,
sure.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And who else out in the Bay that you want to work with that you haven't had a chance to work with yet?
Out this way, it's a few people I still haven't worked with that I need to work with. I mean, it's a few people. There's still a few people in my own record label I still got to work with. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we used to got to get that. I still got to work with Jay Jonah. It's a few people. So, but yeah, I'll work with Lil Yee again too for sure. And then it's a lot of people in the Bay too. I will that you can't really work with because of the politics. There's certain people that rap and they in the politics. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really do music with people that's in the politics because you gonna get, you do certain songs with certain people that other people put you in those politics, and that's kind of what's holding the Bay back too right now. Just a lot of politics about people, on these turf wars and stuff. So.
Pretty much when you look
you
at
see
guys,
you see it getting better in comparison to how it was in like the 90s.
I don't see it getting. I see it a little worse. Cause I mean, even back then, people could work. Different rappers could work with each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's rap. But now, like it's it's the gang culture now, where it's people. It's just like you do a certain song with a certain person. This side automatically puts you on with that side, even if you not banging on stuff like that. They're gonna put you on that side because they just assume you part of that. You did a song with them, so now now you in now when you in the streets and stuff, it's the people looking at you like you from over there, from that side. So it wasn't like this in the Bay with the music. You can do music with whoever.
And that's always a situation that you have to be careful of in terms of understanding, because the thing is, on one hand, you're looking at it from simply a music perspective, but it's something that people might look at it from a whole nother different deal. And that's how it goes.
Right. It's like these dudes out here rapping about killing other people. Dudes, and it's that you hop on a song with them, and you feel me. It's just that's how it go. But it's like for me, I done been through my share of stuff, but I'm not beefing with nobody out here. I'll go wherever I want to go. You know what I'm saying? Like I done been through everything I done been through, so it's like I'm not gonna jeopardize that for nothing. I'll pop out everywhere with my kids and everything. I'm not putting them in those type of situations. So I'm only doing music with certain people, especially coming from out this way.
That's what it is, man. But you're not lying though about them damn politics. I know everybody in Sacramento talking about Stunner Girl and EBK J-Bo.
Yeah.
And we laughing because we understand what's going on with that.
For sure.
They're like, Stunner Girl gonna get that nigga
Yeah.
I'm like, we hoping that ain't the case, but it's like that seems so random that they got together. I'm like, wait a minute, they come from different hoods, and she dissed his hood. It's like,
man,
for real. Park. And it's
like, you gotta be careful. You feel me?
We're like, yo. Yeah, man. Ultimately, in terms of the business, and obviously you're with your label, have you all discussed possibly doing a partnership with a major, or are you all pretty much doing pretty good numbers where you all are at right now?
I mean, we doing pretty good numbers right now. I know we got a lot of plans in the works, but not really to do nothing with no majors right now. But we're about to get on this road soon for sure. So
definitely. Tell us about what it's been like in terms of doing the shows with everybody, because you said also that you pride yourself in your performances. Tell everybody about what it means to get out there and really give the people what they paid for in terms of that action packed.
Yeah, that was once I learned my shows, like that was my time to connect with the audience, like, you know, connect with my fans and stuff. You know, at first, you know, it was hard for me to do shows. You know, I'm fresh out of prison. It's shit. I ain't even like being around people. So you know what I'm saying?
Understood.
So once I got like, you know, got past that, and once I used my shows as a way to really like, you know, connect with my fans and stuff, then that's when stuff started going up. You know, so that's when I really start gaining fans, even more fans, or just, you know, having fans that really rock with me, because you gotta kind of be, you know, a little vulnerable on that stage, and you got to give people something. You got to give the fans a part of you, so that, you know, it's a connection thing.
Absolutely. Being an artist, how do you balance that with being a father as well?
I mean, it's more the time that being an artist takes away from me being able to be a father. So it's like, so sometimes I'll just incorporate that with it, like bring my kids to the studio, or, you know, my oldest son, he like one of my biggest fans. He want to hear every song I'm doing, you know. So
that's dope.
So that was just a way, like, you know, as I start taking the music more serious, it started becoming a real job or another career. So it did start giving me less time. So I just had to figure out, how can I do both at a time? Okay, let me, you know, son, you want to go to the studio now? You know, that's one of his favorite things to do.
And what does it mean for you to set that example to show your kids that there's another way and that their dad is successful doing it?
Man, it really it mean everything to me, as, you know, me being able to show my kids a different way, you know what I'm saying, than what I was showed at certain times, or just, I mean, me being able to be there. Like, that's what kept me out of prison this long. I was in prison, went to prison, like, it was 11 years altogether, but it was 2 stints. But once I had kids, I'm like, man, I'm never going back in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew that it was more, you know, it was more than me. It was bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? So me being able to be that role model for my son, that's like, for my sons and my daughter, it's like one of the biggest things in my life.
I mean, what Spice once said in that joint, ain't no love, man. I mean, that's some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
What he said, money is the root of the evil that's in our hearts and minds. That's so many why our homies dying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, obviously, you know, you understood, you know, San Quentin, Lompoc, Pelican Bay, you know, all those places.
Plus, it builds in on the key decider of having the real team behind you, man, because you need a solid squad in this business.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. I mean, but one thing about it is, in terms of the projects that you've done, I mean, you've obviously been working at a great pace in terms of using that as catharsis and being able to reach people. What other places would you like to travel that you haven't been yet in terms of doing shows?
In terms of doing shows, yeah, more in the South and the East Coast, because I've been a lot on the West Coast and like Midwest. I mean, I've been out on the East Coast and in the South, traveling on for different stuff, but not since I've been doing music. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So it's like getting that way more, man. Like spread my wings, expanding myself. You feel me?
Have you put out the feelers to any artists from the East Coast or down South to really see what the collaboration possibilities could be?
How about what?
Have you reached out to any down South or East Coast artists in terms of possible collaborations?
I haven't yet. That's my next thing. That's my next thing to do.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. And another thing too, I wanted to ask you too is when you in album mode, how long does it take for you to usually complete a project?
Man, it all depends, because sometimes it could be fast. Like if I'm really in that mode, I've got different ways of. If I'm really inspired, like really living in the spirit, then man, I'll put it together pretty fast. I know on that road to success, it took me like a clean month, but I was just locked in the house. Like I said earlier, when my little brother died, it just like that's what got me over the top. That got me up out of that. I just locked in and just stayed in there and just really poured my heart on that thing on the road to success. So it took me about a month there.
Absolutely. I mean, the main thing is just to keep doing what you're doing, stay focused, and most importantly, understand your purpose and the path that you're on, of which you have an abundant amount of. I mean, you got a gift, and the biggest thing you can do with that gift is share it with the world. So don't ever stop sharing it. You know, you are necessary, you are essential, your energy is needed out there.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. And you know, about to be the hour, about to close in. Then it's definitely been a dope bill with you. Big shout out to Fleetwood for connecting us. And you care to tell people what you have going on for the up and coming summer, and let people know where they can find you and your music.
Yeah, so for the summer, I got a single dropping in June. Be on the lookout. And then I got another single dropping August. Then toward the fall time, it's gonna be an EP dropping. So I need y'all to be on the lookout. You can find me on all musical platforms. It's J-SMACKA, J-SMACKA. Find me on Instagram at J_SMACKA_LFE.
Okay. And like I said, T-Max and VA already hit you on the follow. SMACKA, this has been absolutely sensational. Once again, thank you to Fleetwood, and thank you for coming on. We really appreciate you, and you know you're welcome back anytime.
Sure, appreciate y'all.
Most def, brother. We're definitely gonna be locked in.
Good shit.
Absolutely. Brother King, take us out of here.
Yeah, y'all take it easy out there. Big shout out to the Bay Area for showing Off the Cuff Radio love over the years. We will catch y'all back next week.
Get money.
Yeah. And on that note, we out of here.